Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to use those tools and I'm going to create some loops, dubbing loops, hackle loops. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I hope it will be a useful video. I think it's a very nice one. So let's get into it. So let's start with the first application of dubbing loop, and that would be dubbing loop. So I'm going to place some dubbing into this loop. I think it's basic and probably the most commonly used one. And how you do it: you take your bobbin holder, you create a loop. So what I like to do here, I take a couple of turns to secure everything, and then one just to collect it, and then you can just continue one or two around the loop, one or two reps around the loop, and then just continue and lead this along the hook where you want it. Then, depending on what you can have some dubbing twister like this. It has ball bearings inside. It's not so heavy. You can have something like this, brass old-fashioned one, which is heavy, and I'm like used to this one. Depending on the dubbing you have, you may have some smooth dubbing like Superfine and stuff. I wouldn't suggest you doing that. I would like something with more guard hairs inside, so spiky dubbing, and you want to fluff it up a little bit. You also want to make it kind of lengthy, not wide, like this. So you just insert it in the dubbing loop like so. When it's in the dubbing loop, you can adjust it a little bit more if you want, add or remove some, and that's it. If you want, you can place your wave finishing tool under to keep everything together, and then just spin the dubbing loop tool and then slide the tool up and down until you get the desired effect. Now you will see that there are too many hairs over here, so the less you put, the better it is usually, but if you want, this is also good. Sometimes, if necessary, you can use Velcro to brush this out, and I like to use GSP thread for this, because when I'm done with this, what I like to do, I like to pull onto the dubbing loop a little bit. So I'm pushing the hook away from me and pulling the dubbing loop towards me to tighten everything. And now this is very secure, like it's almost indestructible thing. And then you just wrap it around. After each wrap, you may need to stroke back those hairs, fibers, or whatever kind of dubbing you're using. So stroke back like you're folding a feather, and you will see you're getting some really nice effect here. So I'm stroking it back, and from time to time you can just, I'm using the weight of the dubbing twister, so from time to time you can choose to just pull onto it a little bit to tighten everything up a little bit more. And then when you're finished with the dubbing loop, like I'm here, okay, I'm gonna use a couple of wraps here. Now what I like to do, because I have GSP thread, I like to twist tying thread around the loop and then just secure it and tie it off. That's it. Couple of more securing wraps, and that's it. If you cover your body whole like it is, add some floatant, this can be excellent caddis pupa. Even though this dubbing isn't meant to be for floating, the surface tension this can create is amazing, and this can catch some fish for you. Now next thing you want to add, so let's create another dubbing loop here. You know already how to do it. 1, 2, and I'll go back here. Next thing you want to add is, I'm going to use next one, the other one is some fur. So now those hairs are super long, so if I just use them the length as they are, it's not very useful for me, is it? So I'm just gonna take a clump. I'm deciding on guard hairs here. You don't decide on your quantity by measuring the whole complete fur. You measure guard hairs. This is what you need. So I'm gonna cut off the whole bunch and remove the under fur. You can throw it away, or you can like choose to keep it somewhere, but basically what you need to do, okay, remove those huge guard hairs and just hold by the tips slowly. Now you have some beautiful dubbing here. You don't have to throw it away, and then you have some beautiful guard hairs here, as you can see. Now you can realign those tips. There are a couple of stray ones. Realign the tips like you would do a bucktail or something. So this is quite nice now. Now I'm deciding on the length right now, and this is more or less it. So I'm just gonna pick it here and make a straight flush cut here. Oopsie, I didn't expect them to fly into it. Now, very important, crucial, I cannot emphasize this enough, is to, when you insert it into the dubbing loop, I'm using GSP, so it's slippery, is it? You can add some dubbing wax. Okay. I'll add some dubbing wax just to keep everything from falling out too easily. As soon as you place it into the dubbing loop here, put those two, let's call them legs, together, dubbing loop legs together, like so. Now, I need a dubbing needle to show you. If these butt ends are short, then your thorax will be kind of less pronounced. If you pull them out a little bit, like so, your thorax will be a little bit more pronounced. You will see now how. When you're distributing those legs around, try to keep them arranged in a perpendicular, parallel, not perpendicular, perpendicular to the thread, but parallel to each other. That's the most important part here. Like to keep those hairs super parallel. If you don't, they will entangle around each other, and everything, the whole dubbing loop will not be as nice, because you will get those hairs going around, twisted around the thread. Okay, I pulled out a couple of hairs. Now, keeping the tension on the loop, I'm pulling here. I'm gonna twist the dubbing twister. I'm twisting it like crazy. Twisting. Now I can feel that the thread is twisting in my fingers. Now run it back and forth, and help it to twist a little bit more. And this is it. No fibers or hairs trapped, which is amazing, is it? Now I'm gonna wet my fingers, kind of fold this hackle. Now it's a hackle, is it? Then I'm just gonna wrap it around the hook, and you're gonna get a hackle, like wet fly, dry fly. You can get a couple of different effects depending on what you need here. Now I'm pulling those hairs back. I'm tightening on my thread. These are fighting me, so I'm just gonna pull them here again. Luckily, they are long enough so I can just pull them. Okay. Now again, tying thread goes around the loop a couple of times and tie it off. You can use rabbit face fur, sorry, for this. And you can see, like, this looks literally like a hackle, and this can be a really dry fly actually right now. Now you can cut those from the underside to just give some impression of legs. You can do whatever. This video is just for ideas. Now if you want to add some buoyancy, you should use some buoyant material. I have here moose body hair. This moose is specifically 1.5 years old, so I know that because the friend who gave it to me labeled the bag, which is very useful. So we have a relatively young moose, I guess. I'm not a hunter, so I don't know. I'm going to prepare this. I'm going to remove those buttons that I don't need. I'm going to remove all the fluff or under fur, so I can stack this here more easily. Again, you're deciding on quantity by what you want to achieve. If you want more like hackle-like thing, more dry fly-like thing, you use more. If you want just a couple of legs, you use less, obviously. Also, the thickness of the hook shank decides what you need and how much you need to use. If you're going to use something like, let me just find it here. Okay. So if you want to use some hook that's like this thick, I mean, this is huge. So I need more hairs to go around the hook. Now, as I was saying, now I have those tips aligned. And sometimes it's much easier to do everything if you have those clips. So you can use one of those clips and clip the hair. Sometimes it's easier to do it by your hands. Now I'm just gonna pinch the hair tips, and I'm doing it like this, near this top end, because like this, when I insert it in the loop, I can go closer to the hook. If the hair is in the middle, then I can not go. I'm using the middle portion of the loop. I'm just gonna create the loop again. Okay, 1, 2. Let me just correct these couple of stray hairs and then go back. I'm not creating a fly here, even though this looks like a fly. Now, I'm definitely more into my heavy dubbing twister, so I'm gonna use this one. Just matter of habit here. Now, I'm gonna squeeze this hair clip real hard so I don't lose any of these fibers. I'm gonna see about the length of these hairs. I lost a couple, but never mind. So I'm just gonna decide on the length. This should be okay. Okay, I'm gonna cut them very near. You can notice that I'm not using the dubbing wax right now. I mean, you can, not necessary, but you have to be very careful how you're placing it into the loop, because if you make one wrong move, everything falls out. Keep everything tight. That's like very crucial. Always pull onto the dubbing twister. I have a couple of hairs here that I don't like. Okay, everything is good now. Now I'm gonna twist dubbing twister, and when I feel it twist into my finger, I'm gonna just let it go. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, because this hair is like deer hair, it's a little bit hollow. If you pull onto the thread hard, it will cinch and dive into the hair that I'm making the loop with. Now, you can see that it caught a couple of these. So I'm cinching so it doesn't fall out. Seems that my cat is hungry or just lacks attention. Marley! Okay, I'm folding. And it's definitely easier to do this if you're tying bigger hook. Definitely. I also trying to cinch down on it because it will hold much better. So that's it. I'm finished. Couple of twists around the tying thread, and that's it. Now, these are basic applications. What about making something a little bit more advanced? Now let's get into it. This looks like a fly that I can use, so why not? We'll finish it and put it in the box. Now let's see what we have here. This is something that Luca Baroselli designed from Tickstream, the clamp. So I have CDC, I have some moose here, I have some wildcat guard here, and I have some dubbing over here. So I have like 4 materials that I will place into one loop and create a fly. Let's go. I'm gonna place this material clip where I can see everything. I'll place it over the materials so they don't run away. I can also rearrange it a little bit if I need, but so far everything looks pretty good, nicely spaced. Now I did push those buttons a little bit back, and this is the end result, as you can see here. I always begin by placing the dubbing twister into the loop, and then now I'll place dubbing, which I want to be my body. I'll place it near the hook because it's going to be wrapped the first, and then everything else, wings and thorax and blah blah blah, whatever else is left, is going to be further away. So I'm placing it into the loop. I'm trying to pinch it with a thread, and now it's a bit tricky. Need to open it and release everything. This is the last time you can correct things, so pull it out a little bit, or correct it, or cut it, or make it more dense. Basically, that's it. Okay. Now, still holding, making everything tight so it doesn't fall out. Use your scissors or bodkin to make those things perpendicular to the thread so they catch on each other less, but this combination is going to catch a little bit more. Now I feel it, it goes. Now, okay. A little bit of removing those extra hairs that we don't need. Well, this is mostly under fur. Okay, pull tight, and as you can see, it's quite a nice dubbing loop, so composite one. You can add some flash if you want into this combination. You can do anything you like. Now all that's left is to finish off your fly. As at the beginning, wrap it and stroke it back. Now we are getting into the hackle part. Just kind of help myself fold everything, even the CDC. So I'm folding. And now after each wrap, you just want to fold it again. Finish off the loop as always. Tie the end, and now I can add whatever I want and finish off the fly. What I like to do, because this is heavily let's say hackled fly, it won't be sitting on the water right. Either brush it out like this, brush it out a little bit, or probably better option is to cut those bottom hairs and get a fly that will sit lower in the film, and it will give a lot of impression of life, as you can see here. Now let me just finish the fly. I can finish it with a dubbing loop. I think that's a nice touch here, like proper dubbing loop. I'll make it small and finish it off. I don't like this hook, as I said in my previous video, it's like very steep down, so like the thread can just jump down, so that's why I'm twisting it around, rotating the vise. A little bit of dubbing here. So basically I'm finishing off the fly same way I started it, with a dubbing. Insert the dubbing twister, correct everything if you need, twist. You will feel thread twisting into your fingers, just move it back and forth, tighten, remove the extra fur, get a little bit of spikiness to finish off the fly. I'll also use it to fold back those, to kind of control the thorax and the wings and everything. So this is it, almost finished fly. Tighten everything, stroke back, and this is very buggy looking thing that will hopefully catch some fish. I'm almost quite certain about it. Okay, create a little head, protect the loop, and then just see where is it. I kind of like to leave the little stub of this dubbing loop thread, just in case it's gonna pull out, but it's not. It's something that I'm a little bit concerned with GSP. Pulling back those little hairs, and let's go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 9 wraps. That's plenty. Press blade, finish off the fly. I really like brushing the fly. Those kind of flies, I really like them brushed out. They just look way better when you finish them off like this. And that's it. Add some floatant on it and it will float forever. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, keep safe and tight lines.